Our video today is going to feature the Blum Movento floor-mounted drawer slides that you see here. This is the floor-mounted side from Movento 769R with a frame. This is the identical slide without a frame. We're also going to demonstrate the use of this tip-on unit, what they use for a push to open. I really like that. You'll see that in the video, and also the servo drive. Well, I hope you have enough of an imagination to pretend that this is a cabinet in your kitchen and that you want to install a Movento waste recycling rollout in the cabinet. And your cabinet is the opening here between the face frames is 12 inches or 305 millimeters. That's your opening. So you would need to buy the Movento 12-inch waste and recycle unit, the one that's framed up so it'll fit right in. Let me just show you what you would purchase. So here is the unit that you would purchase for this application in your kitchen. So what you have to do is make sure that you have the holes drilled in the right place. All the screws are supplied, so all you have to do is find the location, screw it down, and that part is done. So let's take a look. How do you determine where to put the screw holes? Well, that ain't so hard to figure out because the manufacturer provides, along with this product, a template that's designed for whichever one you're using. Now this one turns out to be the 12-inch unit, so we take our scissor and we cut on the dotted line for the 12-inch, and then it fits into our opening. So this is the 12-inch cut line. So that's what we got to do next. Now we've cut our paper template to fit this opening of 12 inches, and we drop it into its location. What I really like about this is they have this fold that you make here, and that precisely lines up your paper mounting template so that you merely need to go inside the box and pre-drill every place they give you a location to pre-drill. For example, here. So then you can remove the template. All of these units are the 533 series from front to back, which means that you're going to build a drawer box that's 21 inches long. And the width of your box that you're going to build, it's going to be 533 millimeters long, and the box is going to be 305 millimeters minus 42. That's going to be the inside of the box that you're going to use in this application. The holes are pre-drilled, so now we can drop in our unit, and we know exactly where the holes are, and the screws are provided. Pretty hard to make a mistake. It's important to make note of this. Face frame cabinets typically will have a bottom recess. Well, this bottom recess here, the space from the face frame down, the maximum can be 6 millimeters in order for this to work. That 6 millimeters is what will accommodate these plastic mounting brackets that are set under the Movento slide. So you put it into the opening, and you can pull those mounting brackets up tight against your face frame. Your runner setback here, this is 15 millimeters here for your runner setback. And if you have 15 millimeters of a runner setback, you're in good shape. Just pull this right up tight against the frame. One thing you'll appreciate about this application of this Movento drawer runner is that the screws for this application are supplied and pre-attached. So all you have to do is put the screws into the holes that you've already pre-drilled. Now be aware of the fact that the application we are doing here is for an overlay drawer front. So the next step in this process is to install the servo drive unit. This is the plate that goes on the floor of the cabinet. And here you'll notice there's a mark. I don't know if you can see it. It says Movento. So if you're using Movento, you would use this groove, or if you were using Tandem, you would use this groove. In our example now, we're using Movento, so we merely have to lay this on, and there's a tab. It can't go wrong. It's going to fall in the hole. There. The base is in. The next step is to mount the actual servo drive unit. That's kind of easy too, because you'll notice these 10mm tabs here fit right into the base. And once that's done, servo drive unit is installed. In an overlay application, a 3mm distance bumper is required. This is required so that there'll be some space left when you shut the door to fire this servo drive unit. So the distance bumper on the front is required. Now the servo drive supplies you with 4 of these. In case you have a very tall door, then you could put some down toward the bottom, and you can put some at the top for that application. In this case, I'm putting one on each side of the face frame for this overlay application. The distance bumpers are installed. And now we supply power to the unit. Now we're going to plug this in and test fire it. Works. So now we need to talk a little bit about prepping the drawer box for the Movento waste and recycle runners that we've got there. Because this drawer box is 305mm opening between the face frames, this box has to be built a specific width. What you do is you take the 305mm and subtract 42, and that's going to tell you how wide the inside of the box is going to be. So you're at 263mm for the inside of the box, and then you add the thickness of your side panels. That's how wide the box is built. The Tandem and Movento boxes are built the same way. So you have, if you have a drawer runner with a 533 millimeter in the part number, then you're going to build a box that's exactly 21 inches long. Something unique about Movento is that the space required for the Movento slide here is 2 inches. And if you're going to put in tip-on, then you need 5 inches of space here, not just 2. But we're using servo drive, so 2 inches will work just fine. Also, the prep for this hole is quite important, and so I recommend using the jig so you get your hole in exactly the right place. And then a pre-drilling for the front mounting brackets, and again, I recommend using the jig for that purpose to pre-drill for your front mounting brackets. The Movento front locking devices are supplied with the waste and recycle runner, and so we can install those right now with our screws. One 1/2 inch space is required under your drawer box. Well, there it is. The box is installed. Let's see if this thing works. We now have a functional Movento trash rollout, or dog food rollout, or junk from in the garage, bird seed, whatever you want. It's a really nice thing, and here's a little divider. Pretty fancy. Still, now we've got an all new thing to consider. We know it works with servo drive. How do you think you'll like it with tip-on? That's the next step in this video. Well, if we're going to use tip-on, I can tell you one thing that has to happen real fast. This 2 inches isn't going to work. We're going to need 5 inches on each side to make that work. So I'm going to cut the 5 inches and I'll be back. Now we will remove the servo drive. That's no problem. Let me demonstrate just how easy it is to install the tip-on device with Blum Motion into the slide. There's the trigger on the right member. Now we're going to do the left member, same thing. Now with our Movento waste and recycle unit reinstalled, triggers are already applied. We showed that before. Now we're going to show how simple it is to attach the Blum Motion devices. And they even have a marked top and bottom, so it's easy to figure it out. There's a little number 1 here. I don't know that you can see that, but you line that up with the arrow that's on the slide, and then you slide it backwards till you hear it click. There. Now that one's installed. Now we do the same thing on the other side. This is marked the top. It's marked right-hand side. Here's an arrow here. We line it up on the runner with that arrow and then slide backwards till it locks. Now these devices are installed, and because this is a unit that's manufactured for the width they can supply, the device that causes them to trigger simultaneously. Now our slide is assembled and everything's looking real good. We want to make sure we're lined up in the front correctly. With tip-on, you do not need the distance bumpers, so we're going to remove the distance bumpers. So now let's install the drawer with our tip-on Blum Motion device here for push to open, and see if we have a functional push to open drawer. Now the unit is set. We push the drawer to see if it's going to give us the push to open feature. And it does. Very nice. Soft close, push to open. Man, that really worked nice, that tip-on device. I'm going to take this front off and do an inset to show you how this same product will work for an inset. So as I said, I put a new drawer front on this box because it's going to be for an inset application. So I had to cut that and make it for that. Now when we did the overlay waste and recycle unit, we had to have a 15mm runner setback here on both sides, which we did. We had the 15mm setback. Although we used a template, it still produced a 15mm setback. Well, now that we're going to go to an inset application, we have to calculate exactly where to put this unit. And the instructions are, you take your drawer front thickness plus your subfront thickness here and 5 more millimeters. Now, so in my application, I have a 5/8 inch drawer front, which is 16 millimeters, a 5/8 inch subfront, which is 16 millimeters, so that's 32. And now I add 5 more, I got 37mm setback to the front edge of this drawer slide. So I'm going to do that right now. I installed this waste and recycle unit with the tip-ons, at 37 millimeter setback from the front edge. That's the sub-front thickness, the drawer front thickness, plus 5 millimeters. And now what we're going to do is see how our inset application works for tip-on with the Movento waste and recycling unit. Now it's set. We can test the, oh look at there, how good I did on that reset, that inset. You know what? I'm thoroughly impressed with this tip-on unit. When you consider this is a fairly inexpensive way to get soft close with a push to open compared to using servo drive, this is really a nice product, the tip-on. Let me just do a review of the video that you just watched. What we were looking at is the floor mount slide series from Blum, the Movento slide. It is the 769R series. We featured it with a servo drive here and with a tip-on push to open. Now this slide is designed to be used with an opening device like the tip-on or the servo drive. Boy, did I like the tip-on as you saw in the video. So here are some things that I think are worth mentioning. This unit here that comes as a set with the brackets in between, you can get it for an opening of 12 inches or a little bit and bigger, or you could get it for 15 inch and bigger or 18 inch and bigger. That's the limitation to the 3 slide sets that are available like this, and they are all the length of these slides. You would build a 21-inch wooden drawer box for it. All of the wooden drawer boxes for Movento have a maximum side thickness of 5/8 of an inch. So that applies to both of these. So here's the one with the straps in it that are sets. And now this one is exactly the same as this unit. The only difference between this unit and this unit is this strip right here, this little piece of metal. That's it. That's the difference. So now, and there's the plastic pieces that are underneath. They're still there. This requires you to have a 6 millimeter recess if you're doing face frame. If you're doing a box cabinet, you don't have to worry about it. Just set it in there and do it. So that is the only difference, and why they have made it available without that bar in between is so that you can go from 20, 24, 30, or whatever length or whatever width you want in building your box. This comes already with the locking device. This one's provided with the locking device. Very nice option from Blum, Movento, series of drawer slides. And again, these are only for floor mount. They have no provisions for a side mount. There's no provisions for a rear mounting socket. They must be mounted to the floor. So Blum Movento also has a series of slides that are side mount, and we're going to review that with the tip-on device in another video.